Howdy nippers. Hey kids and adults who are also watching. Y'all ready to make an all-time kid-tested, kid-approved favorite snack, which is Rice Krispie treats. But today we're going to have a new spin on the Rice Krispie treats, because you pretty much cannot go wrong with them just the way you make them, with nothing but marshmallows and Rice Krispies. But you know, that's so standard. And especially in a time where we are rummaging through the pantry trying to find a snack, and what we usually have is not there, but we could probably make something up, but we're missing all the things that we need. This is going to be a good opportunity for you to look at what we are, what you have available and what you can make out of it that you enjoy. Because it always starts with, what do I feel like having? What do I want? So if you have been with us before, you know that we have classes for kids on Mondays and Thursdays. We try to have recipes, some sweet, some savory, some that you get to try out for the first time. Usually it's things that you might have in the pantry, but we let you go ahead and know what the next one is, so that if you happen to go to the store, you might be able to pick something up. Today is gourmet Rice Krispie treats. And on Monday, it will be Smacker crackers. And I have really a bonus recipe with that one. I have Smacker crackers that kids like. They are oyster crackers made with a little bit of sauce that you put over the top of them, and they're yummy for snacking on. Then I've got a recipe that I'm also giving out that day called firecrackers, for those adults who like a little extra zip in their crackers. So you will have both of those recipes if you join in on Monday. So I want to get started today with everybody, and I want to say, hey James in the first grade. Hey, Mitzi. Hey, Morgan. I want you to, I want to know if you brought a friend to class. Did you tell a friend that you can come and to the cookie school class on Mondays and Thursdays and learn to make something yummy on those days? If not, just click share so that your friends will know what you are doing. So I want to start the first thing. What is the first thing we have to do when we get started? You know what that is? Hey, Tanya. Hey, Carrie Beth. We have to wash our hands. So remember, we're going to wash our hands like we're a surgeon getting ready to take out somebody's tonsils. Rub in between your fingers. And use very hot water. Once we've got our hands washed, we can get started on this. Now, I want to tell you that sometimes you go into your pantry and you look for something that you think, oh, I've got marshmallows, I've got Rice Krispies, I've got some little chocolate chips or whatever I want to put in there. And turns out you're missing something. So you have to make a substitution. And one of the things that I'm trying to make everybody understand, hey, Dawkins in the 6th grade, one of the things I want people to understand is, if you like it, then you can use it in your recipes. So if you've ever made Rice Krispies before and you made a mess out of it, that's kind of hard to do. But I'm going to tell you what I bet you did that made a mess out of it. Because there's only one thing you can do to Rice Krispie treats to mess it up. And that is, you turn your heat on too high. And it will make your butter brown. It will make your marshmallows scorch. and then your Rice Krispie treats won't be soft and yummy, they'll be hard and yucky. So one of the things you have to do is you have to make sure that you turn your heat on very low. Now, I got started before you came in the class because I went to my pantry to get my miniature marshmallows, and guess what? All I had was large marshmallows. And it takes 10 large marshmallows to make a cup. So if it asked for 4 cups of miniature marshmallows, I had to do some math. And I had to figure out that's 40 marshmallows. Now, if I had poured the whole bag in there, I would have messed up my Rice Krispie, my ratios of my Rice Krispies. So I counted out 40 because that's the same. And I put my half a stick of butter in there, and I put my stove on number 2. That's a low heat because I wanted it to melt the marshmallows and the butter, but I did not want it to burn. So what I'm going to do to start with, while I'm waiting on that to heat up, I am going to use my other half the stick of butter to rub in the bottom of my dish. And by doing that, by rubbing it in the bottom of my dish, it's going to prevent a gooey, marshmallowy, yummy substance from sticking in my pan. So all I've already added here is my half a stick of butter, my 40 large marshmallows, and truthfully, the reason I like to use the smaller marshmallows if I have them available is because they melt faster. And you're going to find this hard to believe, but I'm a little bit on the impatient side. When I want something, I want it right stinking now. And if I turn up my heat because I want to get my marshmallows all melty in a hurry, I'm going to make a mess out of it. So now that I've got my heat on low, I've mixed in my teaspoon of cookie nip, and that's going to give my marshmallow and butter a really yummy salted caramel flavor. Now that it's all nice and melted, this probably will take you about 10 minutes if you're doing it right. You want to stand over it and stir. And I usually like to use a wooden spoon when I'm making marshmallows, when I'm dealing with melted marshmallows, because it's just easier to work with than if I have a small spoon. The next thing I'm going to tell you is if I felt like peanut butter, which we've done several recipes with peanut butter, if I felt like peanut butter right now, here is where I would add about a half a cup of peanut butter to my mixture. If I felt like having Rice Krispie treats with a peanut butter flavor. But today I'm not feeling peanut butter. Today I'm feeling like I want some miniature chocolate chips and some graham crackers. So I'm not going to add it right here just yet because I had to get my graham crackers out of my pantry, and I got 3 whole graham crackers, and I put them in a little bag, and I want to break them into small pieces. I do not want to pulverize it. I'm not going to put it in the blender or anything like that, because when I get a little chunk of graham cracker, I want that little chunk. So all I'm doing is crushing up the graham crackers so they are in little small chunks. Can you see how I did that? Now, if I wanted to put some toffee bits in here or some other, anything, I've given you a whole list of things that you might like to add in. But today, this is just what I'm adding in. First, because it was what was in my pantry. And second, this is what I was feeling like. I was thinking yesterday maybe I would do some peanut butter ones. But this morning, changed my mind. And I can do that. So now I'm going to add All I've got left to add is 6 cups of Rice Krispies. However, I already said I wanted some miniature chocolate chips. But I went into my refrigerator and guess what I found? I have an open bag, but they're full-size chocolate chips. Does that ruin my whole recipe? No, because you know what? They're mine. They're for my family to eat. And if we want to eat them with full-size chocolate chips, we will. So there's 2 cups. I'm going to mix that around. Remember, I'm still on very low heat, like my stove is on warm. Yeah, that's still too marshmallowy. I still got 4 more cups of marshmallows to go. I'm going to... The reason that I did not want to go ahead and add my chocolate chips in here is because the bottom of my pan is still warm. And I don't want my chocolate chips to melt and become goopy. I want them to be like a little chocolate bite whenever one happens to be in your Rice Krispies. So... See why I like to use a wooden spoon? You know, Rice Krispies are one of the things that I have learned that a lot of cake artists use when they want to make something. I'm probably going to put, you know, about a handful, maybe 2 of these chocolate chips. I don't want them to melt. I just want to get them stirred in. And I have graham cracker, and I have marshmallows, and I have chocolate chips. So what does that combination remind you of? S'mores. Okay, so now all I'm going to do, I'm going to tilt this where you can see me right here. I'm going to put this in my pan. And one thing you'll probably notice is, gosh, this is a sticky, sticky mess. And if I touch my hands to it, I'm going to have sticky all over my hands. But what I'm going to do is wash my hands again. Because if you don't want to get everything all sticky, if you wash your hands, do you know it won't stick to this marshmallowy stuff won't stick to washed hands? So give me 1 second. You will notice that there's still some left in the pot. And I have this rule that whoever made the Rice Krispies gets to scrape out the pot. Now, my hands are not sticking to that at all because I just wet them. And because one of my favorite things to do to Rice Krispies anyway, I typically sometimes have some leftover buttercream in my kitchen where I've been making petit fours, or maybe I made a birthday cake or something. I will have leftover buttercream, and as soon as that gets cool, I will spread the top, and so they are then frosted Rice Krispie treats. Yes, you can use other cereals if you want to. Yes, you can use other flavors. But like if you want to put, let's say those little miniature strawberry marshmallows, make sure you put those in after the Rice Krispies. Because think about what you're adding and whether you want it to melt into your wet mixture or you want it to kind of stay. I didn't want my chocolate chips. I still wanted them to look like chocolate chips. I didn't want them to become melted, like melted chocolate in there. But if I'd have wanted that, that's exactly what I would have had. So I want to know, hey, Katie and Belinda and Pat and Sylvia and Phil and Lonnie, does anybody have a question about what you could or should use? You saw that I made quite a few substitutions because if you don't know, there's this thing going on and we're supposed to stay in our houses, and I'm happily complying with that rule, which means that I don't go to the grocery store every day like might be normal for me. So I have found that I've substituted quite a few things, and some of it I liked even as well, if not better, than the others. I think that you will like your gourmet Rice Krispie treats because it always, the first rule of the gourmet treats is what do you like, and then that's what you get to put in there. I've seen people chop up candy bars in there. I've seen people put salted, like sea salt flakes on the top. There is so much you can do with the base of a Rice Krispie treat. And like, who doesn't love those? Everybody loves those. So you can surprise your family or maybe a neighbor or something. If we don't have brown sugar, what do? There's no brown sugar in there. There was no brown sugar. If you like brown butter, you could brown your butter, but to brown your butter gets it a little too hot, and then your marshmallows try to follow suit and get browned. But brown sugar is just regular granulated sugar with molasses added. But that's molasses I do not have in my pantry now. I do have brown sugar, but I don't have molasses. Okay, so next Monday, there's going to be 2 recipes. One of them is going to be Smacker Crackers, which is designed for kids. It has like butter and Hidden Valley ranch dressing mix and a few things like that, a little garlic and sea salt, and oyster crackers. But I thought it would be a good opportunity because some people may not have oyster crackers and they might want to do it on saltines, and you absolutely can. But I'm going to probably also demonstrate firecrackers, which are these very hot, spicy, with the red pepper flakes on it. Adults usually like those because they are very, very spicy. It kind of reminds you of having chips and salsa, how we like hot things with our crackers. So I hope that you will make these gourmet treats for your family or for a neighbor, and I hope that you will share some joy with it. If you take some to a neighbor, or if somebody's lonely or somebody's not getting out right now, you could take it and ring their doorbell and run, and it will make somebody's day. So I encourage you to do that and to post your pictures of your Rice Krispie treats and tell us what you did to them that was unique. Post it on the Cookie School page on the homework link, and also invite a friend to come to class with you on Monday. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.